Yeah, so this is how it was getting kind of confusing here at the end because we had like indications of a high and there's also low significators. There's a unicursal here as well. That's the Ruin card. This is the Prince of Swords into Ace of Discs low, which is also a correlation. I think right here is probably, we could consider like 469 to like roughly 470 as like a as an emperor price level. And the reason why I say that is because the emperor from the previous day correlates to this ace of discs and this possibly this princess of discs as well. But it depends on what happens here at the end of the day. We probably go from like a quick peak through a key resistance into a notable decline. Like there'll be a notable move higher, which is actually what we're seeing right now. And then we should break through a resistance momentarily. It might be this resistance like right here, actually, like. And then it's followed by a decline down into trough. So it could be here at the end of the day that we see the low, or it could be the following day, like right at the open. And my sense is that it's probably the following day. Hey, B. Coinbase tomorrow. It's the overall trend direction for Coinbase throughout tomorrow's trading day. I see a pop and drop tomorrow. This is probably the resistance. We might end up at like we might go all the way up to here. It's possible. I mean, we have a little bit of time here, and I think the high that I see is probably in like the last 15 minutes of trading, probably somewhere right around there. It could have been this, but I think it's probably going to be up here. Let's do that. So I would utilize this opportunity right here to close out of long positions that were opened around this trough here. This ace of discs trough, kind of like opportunity that's spiked to the downside, unicursal even. And then we have this prominent move higher, full retracement, and then we go into the princess of discs move. So we're coming up on this high. We may have reached the high, or we might go higher. It could be anywhere within this range right here. I need to know how to do an ellipse. CrAzY for tomorrow, overall trend direction. Oh my god, I got the same card, pop and drop. The same exact card. It's like a full, like a prominent move higher, full retracement of that move back down. And it appears on the 22nd as well in the S&P. Interesting. This should be a very notable kind of. I think we're gonna have a prominent move higher and then a full retracement back down based on the fact that I keep seeing this card, and then here it is in the S&P as well. Hey Robert, good afternoon. You're in Netflix puts. Is tomorrow a good time to sell? I'm so sorry about the coughs, guys. Yeah, probably at the end of the day tomorrow would be a good day to sell. In like the later the second half of the trading session, somewhere like in mid afternoon probably. There should be somebody speaking around the time of that low, or something that they say might bring us into the low or out of the low. There's going to be right around the timing of that low. There should be somebody speaking something that impacts Netflix somehow. Um, and I would look for a high within a period of. This is what you want to see before you close your short position. You want to see on a 1 day chart. You want to see a peak like that stands out on a 1 day chart, followed by a sharp decline, and then you want to see another peak, probably revisiting the same price level in the midst of some erratic behavior back and forth through the same price level. That's followed by a sharp decline into a low, and you'll see there should be a speaker around the low. I wouldn't hesitate when you see that low towards the end of the day um, because there's a big move out of it, pushing the upper end of a range higher. We go back into a crest here at the beginning of the day. It looks like on the 26th. So look for that peak and then that crest most likely being revisited or in some erratic behavior, and then a sharp decline at some point through multiple supports on a 1 day chart. And that's where, in the midst of that decline into a low, that's where I would exit out of the puts. What's the strike price on those, B? How does Mana Crypto look for end of January? Where will Mana Crypto's price level be in the end of January in relation to its price level today? Hmm. Not sure which one of these to use. Oh, it's called the central end. Oh, interesting. Okay, so this is the one to use right here. its price level be in relation to its current price level at the end of January. That's not very helpful. Important technical price level on a multi-year kind of scale. It looks like we'll be lower in January than we are now, but it's kind of like a fake out. So we're probably, I'm guessing we're going to be around this price level here. That's my sense based on that. The fact we'll be lower, that would be the closest important price level on a multi-year scale. Roughly 1024. But it'll be kind of like a fake out, and then there should be a notable, like an unexpected move higher from that price level. Hey, it was luck. Am I still expecting a low in Bitcoin? So back to highs, as expected. Interesting. Yeah, I think there's probably going to be a trough at the end of the day there. So this is a pretty sharp drop. That's what I was seeing here. And that's at what? Okay, yeah, I would say there's probably a trough at the end of the day after we're probably declining from here. Like this peak right here, we've been declining. We're probably continuing to decline into a trough tomorrow. This might be where we bounce a lot along sideways along support for a bit before breaking down through more supports, because that's what happens here with the debak card. You decline to and through support, meet a second support, bounce along that support for a bit, kind of like we're seeing here, and then you break down through more supports. And that'll take us to a trough. There is another crest, it looks like in the morning or midday on the 22nd, and then another sharp decline back into a trough, probably around the same price level there on the 23rd. There is one more like place where we might have another low. It's kind of hard to determine if we're going to see it there or not. But as far as like a low for the month, let's see. I mean, if you cut out this portion right here, that might hold true. Like I said, it's probably gonna end up somewhere here. It could go all the way down here, but that's not really what I'm picking up on. If you cut this little piece out of the month, then that's probably pretty accurate, somewhere around here. 41.2 to 42. All right, so we definitely are turning around here, guys. We went all the way up. If you haven't opened up a short position or closed a long position, so if you opened up a short position here in the midst of this decline to the downside, right? If you opened up a short position there, or excuse me, a long position there, I would say close that here for a day trade. That's awesome. Good job. And if you're looking to do a short position swing trade overnight, now would be the time to do it. We should see a pretty sharp decline off of this peak, increasing with momentum moving forward in time, and that'll either take place starting like right now, or it'll take place like overnight into the morning tomorrow, and or both. Hey, Raj Trading. SPY I'll get into in just a moment. Let me just take care of these guys with the stars next to their name. They're paying for priority response. Gotta show appreciation. Does SPY decline continue into next week? And do you think Bitcoin will hit 45K remaining weeks? So SPY I think is gonna get really, really wild next week. We might see another new high, like for the month, or back to the same high, somewhere either back to the same highs that we had for the month or higher. But there may also be, it's probably going to start out of like a lowest price level thus far. It's possible, or it's going to be, it could be the same situation where you cut out this whole portion. But this does give me the feeling we've got a pretty, the double X and the full card. There should be a pretty sharp drop there. It might be right overnight, right here overnight. So make sure to be in a short position. If you're in a long position, like there'll be opportunity, it looks like, to close out of a long position in the midst of this move here. You don't want to chase the rally. There's going to be like this big move from a low or a trough, a prominent trough in the beginning of the day, big move to a peak. And that's where we go from like what could be a lowest low to a highest high, or it could be just like a prominent trough to a highest high or a higher highest high. But then we kind of come back down to reality with a big drop off of multiple failed attempts to break through key resistance here. Like we probably decline back into troughs at the end of the day or the following day. A lot of volatility on the 28th. And it's just, there's going to be a lot of wild stuff going on here, guys. It's really hard to determine. But I think if you say, if you ask me, are we going lower next week? Or is the decline continuing lower next week? Or is the rally continuing higher next week? I would say yes. Is the decline continuing lower next week? And is the decline continuing higher next week? Those two questions, yes. Will Bitcoin hit 45K remaining weeks of December? There's a very strong possibility that we hit 45K right here around the 27th. Very strong possibility. Or 27th or the 28th, maybe. It's probably the 28th. No, hard to say. It's the 27th or the 28th. If it does take place in December. So let's see. I got a yes, and it might even be the 30th. Or it might be that we see it a couple times, or maybe multiple times, like we bounced along it. But a highest high on the 27th, probably a higher one on the 28th, the same or a higher one. And then on the 30th, I'm getting some sort of like impression we possibly have an even higher one there on the 30th. It's hard to say. I wouldn't count on the 30th if I'm like looking for an exit. I would definitely wait. I would definitely exit by the 27th, 28th. 28th if I'm more speculative, 27 if I want to be conservative. All right, so my gosh. Now I'm getting maybe the 29th. It's somewhere around there. I don't think we do. I don't think we do, but I think the high for the month is somewhere around the 27th, 28th, 29th, 30th. Like it probably gets higher each of those days or revisits it. I don't think we hit 45K though. Not in December. We do in January though. Google for tomorrow. Oops. See, I'm getting a similar thing for the last week of Google. Whew. Wow, that was a move. And I had a low and a high there on the 7th. It looks like it was the 6th, 7th. That was a tough read right there. Um 20th was the high here. So I think we've got a pretty mixed day tomorrow for Google. We probably open lower. Hold on a sec. So we probably open lower or decline early on in the day into like a trough midday. And there might actually be like a failed attempt to break through key resistance, like a decline early day, big move higher to a peak. It's a failed attempt to break through key resistance, and then we decline back down, not as low as where we went earlier in the day, but kind of like in between the high and the low of the day. We finish the day. And then we open much higher, I think, on the 26th than where we closed on the 22nd. For Sherry, regarding her court case, will opponents settle prior to her filing an appeal? Will she have to file the appeal at all? New court case. Sorry. Excuse me. I got a yes. Um, they're gonna settle prior to an appeal. It's the Ace of Swords though, so it definitely has to do with legal type of dealings. But the Ace of Swords is a little tough to read on a yes or no kind of basis, so I'm gonna try again. It's technically a yes, but my experience, it's kind of like a iffy yes. Yeah, that's kind of iffy. All right, let's try the second part of that. Will Shari have to file an appeal at all? Not sure if that's the best wording. Should Shari bother filing an appeal at all is a better question. Yes or no? I got a yes, which was what my gut was saying. So oh, okay, I think I see what's happening. Yeah, okay, so the opponent's going to settle, but not prior to filing an appeal. I think she files the appeal, and then after the appeal, there's a settlement. Is that correct? Yeah, and it's a pretty auspicious kind of settlement, like pretty favorable to Shari. And there might still be a new court case anyways. It's hard to say. That's a little interesting. I've got an ace again. AV, is there a Santa rally? Sort of. Sort of, I think. Like, we've got this... Like I said, there's a big move there. Probably a pretty big move, bullish move at the end of the day tomorrow. It won't take us to a high per se, but there's a pretty big bullish move there. Yeah, and then I think we probably open lower. There's a big move from the bottom of a range all the way to the top of a range. We go from like a low thus far, or a low for the day, to a high, and then I think we decline like a lot more in midday. But then again, end of day, we have like this notable move to the upside in like the last hour, followed by more decline. Volatility. That looks like a pretty harsh day, actually, to the downside. And then there's that fortune card, which I'm seeing in a lot of readings here at the end of the month. Yeah, I think it gets pretty bearish. Okay, if you want, you could probably add to a short position here since we went a little bit higher. If you want to add to a short position, I would advise that. I wouldn't get scared out of a short position if you purchased here. Should be fine tomorrow. Does the S&P 500 look weak in February? I just finished S&P 500 for February is actually, if it's not posted, it should be posted by tonight on early access on our website. So if you guys want to check out February early access, you go to our services, SO Meta posts, early access right here at the top. Click here to subscribe. $29 a month, $249 for the year. Great way to support the channel. And like I said, the February readings, the remainder of the dailies for February are coming out by the end of tonight as well. More than half of them have already been posted to early access or are in the midst of being posted right now. But February's pretty ugly. Hey, Proof. Um, I'll come back to you. Oh, actually, you're gonna go to sleep, so you're up late. Let me take care of you, my man. Um, Bitcoin. Okay, so as far as Bitcoin, we were just talking about this. And I'm gonna cap the questions off here, guys, so that I can get out by like 4:05, 4:10. Bitcoin. Yeah, so I was saying, um, it's very likely that it comes down to this price level as far as like a lowest low all the way down here. I think probably sometimes this type of thing will happen with the reading where like you got to count out this piece and then it's like, yeah, the low they're talking about is down here. Like this could be blended in. The beginning of one month can be blended into the end of another, just like dailies have plus or minus a day. Like the monthlies, they merge together sometimes. So I think very confidently we should be about around this range on like the 22nd, 23rd. We could go down here. I don't expect us to. And then we're very likely seeing our highest price levels thus far. It'll be the same highs or higher price levels, and I feel pretty strongly it'll be higher price levels, as consecutively higher price levels as we go from the 27th to the, or consecutively higher highs, I should say, as we go from the 27th into the 28th, into the 29th, and possibly even into the 30th. I wouldn't wait for the 29th, 30th. If I'm looking to exit and take profits, I would do it on the 27th, 28th. I would not wait because I might be wrong about those days. But I would say whatever low we have here around the 22nd, 23rd, whether or not it goes all the way down here, that's going to be the low that we see. Hopefully that helps, Proof. Um, as far as materials, AV, I'm doing those readings one by one. We'll get through them shortly. I just have to, like, I'm so slammed at the end of the year because I have a deadline for both 2024 readings and a deadline for, uh, monthly readings as well. So it's like double whammy deadline, and then there's all these other readings like that are on the agenda, but they're probably not going to be coming out until January. B, you opened a new business in Dunellen. Did we talk about this? I feel like we talked about this a while ago, or that might have been somebody else, actually. I don't think that was you. They were looking somewhere in New Jersey as well, though, but I don't think it was Dunellen. So will your business be successful and wealthy for you? B, do you really want to know? Like, it might not be a good answer. I'm not saying it is or isn't, but do you really want to know? Like, what if it's a no? What are you gonna do? Are you gonna like then the rest of your time in that business be like, oh, what's the point? Like, do you want to know that info? Let me know. Confirm you want me to answer that question, and I will. You're welcome, Proof. Appreciate you, my man. I'm just waiting on B's response, and then I'm gonna roll, guys. Cap off questions here. Well, it's a moot point, B, because I pulled the Princess of Discs, which is a sure sign that you're going to make a lot of money in that business. So blessings to you. Glad it was a positive. If it was a negative, I would have waited for you to tell me. But it was a positive, so who cares? Good stuff. All right, my friends, that's all I got for today. Thank you so much for watching. As always, make sure to follow that rule of karma. You do so here on the resources tab of our website. 5% of the profits should be donated forward to a charity here. 5% of the profits should be donated back to the channel. Thank you. We are counting on you here at Channel for Traders to follow through. Leaves you at 90%. Make sure to spend that money out of love. As long as you follow those rules, the universe considers you an angel investor of the channel. It's going to send it back to you tenfold for following through. Blessings to all my angel investors. I'll see you guys.